Following is a Sketch Media production.
But you know what? I look at that as the most expensive baseball card is one that's imperfect.
All right, let's do it.
Ole! Are we going to run with it? What is it? What is this? What is this? Is this free music on the Roadscaster? It is! Oh yeah, everybody! Yo, yo, yo. It's my best Bubble and Love Sponge impression. Yo, yo, yo. It's the Pete Podcast. It's incredible. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We got some new toys. We're just fucking around with this stupid shit on it.
I had to.
Keep fucking. Keep fucking.
Keep fucking. It's the Pete Podcast. Hello, everyone. Welcome. With me, as always, is my much better half, Marn, run in the producer seat. She is the woman in chair.
Yay.
She is. And I've been waiting for this guy's. I don't know how it's taken this long.
We've been talking about this for years.
Long time. If you're in around Atlanta and you've listened to any type of Atlanta radio, rock radio, you've crossed over to country, you've heard this man's voice. And if you close your eyes, you'll be like, I know him. But I've known him for many years just like this.
Yes.
We go back far, and nothing but respect. Everybody, Rich Sullivan, a.k.a. Sully.
Hey,
Bro.
Hey, it's so good to be here, man. Wow. Can I just say this studio is amazing?
Thank you.
We got Sully on.
I
This
know,
is going
it's
to get
so exciting.
This is going to get insane.
This room did not look anything like this the last time I was in here. And it wasn't that long ago.
No.
It was not that long ago.
No,
Bro,
it wasn't.
I little like studio elves
Yeah.
came.
No, it absolutely looks amazing. I love the elves. They did a great job.
Thanks, Belle.
Thank
you.
you.
That means a lot coming from you. You know some good stuff.
It's us. We're the elves.
Hey,
We're the elves. We
love
are.
it.
But hey, everybody, yeah. So maybe some people out there can see it, but I've been so excited to have you on, Belle.
Thank you, man. It's really good to be here. Thank you for recalling some of those older days of radio in this town. It was a lot of fun.
It's a great way to just kind of parlay and give us the back of the book summary about Sully.
So moved from Boston originally, moved to Atlanta in 1994. So I've been here just over 30 years. Started working in the broadcast radio business in 1995, 96. Stuck with it all the way until they kicked me out in early 2020.
It's usually what happens, right?
It is exactly what happens. But I just I loved radio from the moment getting here and turning on WGST when I was working, just a regular job in downtown Atlanta, listening to that station, really falling in love with that. My passion for radio really goes back to watching Boston Bruin games on WSBK TV 38 in Boston with Fred Cusick and Derek Sanderson. And like when I heard those guys, that is what I wanted to do. I was like, wow, that's awesome.
I got to do that.
I've got to do that.
Yeah, because they just seemed like they were having so much fun and goals were getting scored and they were going crazy. And I was like, I want in on that. Whatever
that
that
looks
is.
like a fun job.
Whatever that man has, I want that some of.
Yes. So that's what I did. For a portion of the time that I was in that business, I did have an incredible job. I made really good money for about 5 or 6 years. And, the rest of it kind of sucks. And, there's corporate consolidation and all this other nonsense. But I think I was one of those people who, when I was in it, just had a good attitude and really wanted to be there. And, I'm glad that I had that experience. Nobody can take it away from me.
I don't think you could sum that up any better.
That was a great summary.
There's highs, lows kind of in.
Now, do you want all the personal BS that happened during that time too? I can give you the bullet points on that.
Well, if you want. I mean, you got, run a little, give it a little, just a little.
The quick little thing. Okay, so I got married for the first time, 2002. Divorced in 2008. I got sober, quit drinking.
All right.
2012.
Big.
I'm not lecturing. I'm not telling anybody what to do or not do. I'm just a big believer in it for me, staying sober. Met my wife in 2018, second time around marriage for both of us. We've lived a couple of different places together. We got married in the middle of COVID, Piedmont Park.
That's right.
Guys, you missed out. If you wanted to have a quick, easy wedding. You should
Do
have
it
done
during
it.
COVID.
You should have done it in 2020, man.
That was the way to do it.
It was great. So we have a great life. We live at the south side of Atlanta, down in Coweta County, and we're real estate agents, and we just love our work. And we also coach people, help them to change their relationship with alcohol. So that's a big part of our work.
And I would like to clarify something. A lot of people are on this sober. And look, I've never been a drinker. Everybody out there, and I'm honest, anybody that's ever known me, like, yeah, you never seen Pete. I've just never been. Huge pothead. Not denying anything, but I'm not a drinker, right? So, I've seen you, like, we've known each other for many years, but we've really been in contact again for about 10-ish.
Yeah, about 10 years.
Right? You've been on this for that long that I've known you. Like, that isn't like a recent thing, or like, I want everybody to realize that. Like, you hear a lot of this stuff now, like, oh, this guy was on that wagon and working older programs that worked for him. I was very impressed with that, pal.
Yeah.
Like, that's a night, like, this isn't like, I'm doing it because no, you were a OG in the sense of you did it for you back when it was just, I had to do something for me.
Well, not to, get into a whole big depressing thing, but I just had reached a point where enough was enough. I knew that, the mountain of evidence as to why I should probably stop this was too big. And I just decided to actually not ignore it and pay attention to it and stop. And part of my work and my wife is in this work too, in coaching, is just to encourage not everybody, but just people who are trying to quit. Hey, come on over.
Help them.
So it's a great thing.
Check this out. Like, you can do it your own way. You don't have to do it the AA way. You don't have to go to rehab. There's a whole bunch of different ways to do this. But if it's what you really want, just give it a shot.
Yeah, and that's like, look, we're not going to harp on it, but we're going to have Rich back many, many a times. I'd love to have you as a fixture. I've always said I wanted to build a cast of great people around, and I think you're one of those ones that I've always put up there, right? So, like, and we'll get into more of this, right? It's definitely will, but, like, bro, kudos to you.
All right, my story. I got two stories that I
here
want
we
to tell
go.
before we start. Okay, first, what I was doing a couple of hours ago, I had, for the second time, testosterone pellets injected into my ass. So
Wow.
Oh, bro, I'm starting testosterone treatment.
now we're talking.
This is a very timely
That's a weird thing. I'm starting it too.
Okay, I didn't bring that up to make this like the Pete therapy
Dude,
hour.
I just
No,
had
but
my
it's like
I just had my blood work and I had that checked and I'm gonna go. Yeah,
we're going through that. Yeah.
I don't know about the
yeah.
pellets, but I'm getting some in my ass.
That sounds kind of gay.
I have heard this almost
I
unanimously.
don't know about the pellets.
That's what she said.
I have heard this almost unanimously from people north of the age of 50, like women and men. Go get it. Get the hormones. Get the testosterone. Let it do its thing.
Yeah.
Because life is better with it.
Yeah.
Oh, bro, we had a guest on that talked to me about that too, and we were talking about something. He's like, "You didn't go get your testosterone checked," and it was like a business thing. I was like, man, I was on the fence about something. He's like, bro, that's no, and I was like, what? He goes, you wouldn't be thinking that way if your testosterone. I was like, what? Like, it wasn't about like, it was a weird thought that's what tipped him off.
Yeah.
That we were talking about like a rental option versus, and it was just like, because he's like, you should be more aggressive, you should be fucking more aggressive. And I was like, thanks, pal. And he's like, no. He's like, your T is low. It's exactly what he said. Your T is low because if it wasn't, you would be like, fuck that shit, and you'd be like, and I was like, fuck. And Marn heard that, and she was like, really?
That's what I'm after. I'm after an injection of confidence into my life. Like, let's stop messing around.
That's what
And
he
it wasn't-
says. He
yeah.
says it's like an injection of confidence.
Yeah.
That's exactly how he described it.
Yeah, I'm gonna fucking take it right in the butt.
All right, the other thing.
Injection
How
of
about this?
confidence.
Okay, we're all friends, right?
Yeah.
Do we identify? Can we say our first and last names here on this show?
Oh
Right?
yeah.
Can?
I mean,
yeah.
everyone
I mean, they
knows who
know
we
we
So
are.
your
yeah.
name is Peter Joseph, all
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
This is what I did. This is what a deviant prick I am today, okay? I have a friend who, I'm not going to say his name, his first and last name, okay? I went to hover.com, a site that I have an account with to buy domains, okay? And I went and looked up his first and last name.com and it was available, okay? I bought it. All right? I bought it. And I made it redirect to my real estate website. And then I sent him that link, his first and last name.com. And I said, hey, check this out. And like I'm literally looking at the text, you know, like I texted him that, and then the very next text is like all caps, "You asshole." So am I just a prankster or am I like an asshole? What do you think of that move?
Well, what are you going to do with said domain?
Do me a favor and get my domain.
Well, I'm not going to do anything, and I like if he wanted it back, certainly I'd relinquish it to him. But
Right. Then
No,
it's
dude,
not
that's a
dick
prankster
move.
shit.
Yeah, that's
No,
a prankster.
it's like
That's
we
prankster.
have a friend that was doing
Now, if you're
something.
going to charge him $10,000 to get the domain
That's
back,
what we
like,
had.
that's
That we had a
dick
friend
move.
that did it, and he was like, "Oh, by the way,
Yeah.
I happened to get all these domains that were. It was like her name, her stuff, her of like. It was like, and
Yeah.
she's
Yes.
like, "Oh, 15 grand sounds about right." Where it was, she was like, "Wow."
well, I
Like,
I did go and look up the name of a pretty wealthy, successful person who I know personally.
Yeah.
And but their name was taken
Yeah,
already.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, oh man, I would love to get a hold of that
I
and then
know.
sell it to him.
I know.
Because remember Warren Sapp, the Bucks. You're the
yeah.
big Bucks fan. Warren Sapp was like the OG of this problem.
Yep,
Because
yep.
somebody bought WarrenSapp.com and he wanted it, and he's like, "This is bullshit. I can't get it."
Well, that was like, what did it? Wasn't there like a select? Was it
this
Blue
went
Ivy?
fucking bananas.
Maybe it was
sandwich.
Blue Ivy, or someone bought BlueIvy.com when Beyonce had Blue Ivy, I think, or it was like some
No,
celebrity.
I remember
baby
that. Like she
name.
like
I remember.
copyrighted Blue Ivy, and I'm like,
Then maybe it wasn't her. Maybe she did it to get. Maybe she did that to get around it. But like I remember that happened with a big baby name, a celebrity baby name.
I am
no. I think you're not a prankster. I think one that's hysterical.
I do too.
And two,
I think
it is what shit is.
It's so funny. I am fascinated with how fast stuff moves. Like you're watching TV, an award show on a Sunday night, and somebody
Yep.
says something stupid, and then the next thing you know, there's
You're
somebody
getting a
who
Facebook
sold
ad
like
for the merch.
5,000, T-shirts sold of this thing
Yep,
that
yep.
nobody's gonna know about
Yep.
in 2 months.
Have you seen the new one? The girl, and she's like in Nashville, and somebody asks her, "What do you need to do sexually?" And she goes, "You need to go and spit on that thing." You know what I'm saying? And like it has been everywhere. Look it up.
And go crazy every time.
Oh, you gotta give him that hawk too and spit on that.
She's like, "You need to go and spit on that thing." You know what I'm saying?
Man.
And it's like,
Pete, you're going to some odd parts of the internet, man. Where
Well,
you at?
you do not want to know what his For You page looks like.
Oh
Like
my
you
goodness.
don't want to know. It's terrifying. Like the shit he sends me, I'm like, stop sending me this shit because now I'm gonna get it in my like it's
Right,
coming
it
into my feed.
it
now.
messes up your algorithm.
Yes, I'm
On
like,
in-
stop sending me. This
I send her
fucked
the
up
most
shit that
fucked
you
up
get.
shit.
On Instagram, my buddy, it's a different buddy than the guy who I just ripped off his website. It's another guy. He's every day he sends me all
Yeah,
these
that's
videos
him with
of,
me.
of people falling down, of people farting on each other, couples. Some of it real.
Introduce these two. Give
And
me
I'm- So then my wife, we're sitting on the couch and she's like, "Hey, let me see your phone," or like, my phone's in the other room. Can I look at your Instagram really quick? I want to look at something. And then she goes to like my search page and she's like, "What on earth is
What are
all
you
of this?"
watching? What are you?
Yeah, and it's so you go down rabbit holes. You start seeing, then you go, "Oh, look, oh, whoa," and then it goes fucking crazier, and it's like, yeah. So I send her some of the fucking nuttiest.
So it's like I'm not worried about anything on my phone. Okay, I haven't done anything wrong.
I've
I'm
done it
a
wrong.
faithful guy or whatever.
Right.
But like she opens up the Explorer and
like,
it's
"What
like
are you looking
here are these
at?"
like half naked ladies on treadmills, right?
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
People farting on each other in
Oh, yeah.
Walmart.
Flagellation.
Okay.
Naked women on treadmills.
People trying to do like bass fishing and like ski jumping in like Alabama. Like it's insane. It's insane. There's too much.
I know.
There's too much of it.
I know.
Speaking
I agree.
of, is it time to start jumping into our topics?
Yes, I'm sorry for derailing.
No,
No, this
brother.
is
That
great.
wasn't a derail. That was a great introduction,
That was
and
a
people know
great
Sully now.
introduction To our
This is by
first-
far our spiciest episode yet.
Great. This is great. I'm
This
so
is good
excited
stuff.
about this.
All right, ready? Because we got some curveballs thrown in too.
Okay, good.
So our first topic
Here we go.
in our combing the internet. The thing that we found on the internet was that there was a typo made in the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl ring. And
I
you
heard
saw
about
that, yeah,
that.
yeah.
I heard
yeah,
about that.
Yeah. So that's gonna be our topic because
So what did you think when you saw that?
the first thing I thought when I saw that was makes sense because everything just is bleh nowadays. No one gives a shit about accuracy at all on anything.
Right. I
anymore.
won the championship. Who cares? There's
cares?
a 7 where there should be a 4. Who gives a rip? I don't care. I won. I got my Super Bowl ring.
Exactly.
I don't care if it's wrong or not, right? But however, that guy, whoever the person responsible for this is, whoever that was,
that guy's fucked.
It's a long life.
Dude.
But you know what? I look at that as the most expensive baseball card is one that's imperfect, right? Like it's like it's like one of like what is it like Ty Cobb or something? But it's like the corner's not right or something, and it's like one of one because it's that unique. That's kind of how I look at those rings. Like that's cool. Like I would want mine to be like. It's kind of. It's not like. It's a neat story. It's like that's the stuff like folklore. Now, what if they go on and win like 8 in a row and they beat Tom Brady? It's like because the ring was messed up.
Well, mistakes.
Like that's like octopus throwing on a hockey rink type shit, right?
Yeah.
Like it comes from some weird.
Or like the goat at Wrigley Field.
Or the goat at that.
It turns into a razzing. It's just a razzing of.
Or like
us.
the goat and Steve Bartman and all of those Chicago
Bartman.
Yeah, those Chicago Cubs.
But like the higher profile you go with the mistake that you make, the more of a risk you run for this guy who misprinted the Super Bowl ring or made that error. Like the rest of his life, it's going to say "Happy Birthday" on the wall, and it's going to be misspelled. He's going to get a card, and it's going to be misspelled.
Oh yeah,
like
totally.
That you're talking that guy or like in general, that guy's screwed. Like it's like the guy who played. Remember the guy that played "Smack My Bitch Up" when what's his face walked up to the mound the first time for the Cubs? Remember that shit? And he had just gotten arrested on domestic violence. Yeah.
Oh wow, I forget about that. Was it 2000? Is that around 2000?
2000. No, it was the Cubs won. They brought in what was his name?
It was 2016. It was.
He threw heat, man.
Heat.
He threw like
He was
103.
the heater.
He was the finisher. And he came from the Yankees for like they took him in that final. Right. And he came in and he had just gotten a big time domestic violence.
They played Smack My Bitch Up by Prodigy
as he came out of the bullpen.
Now, did we lose our job? Did that
DJ
lose?
He was gone.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. But they won. That was when they won.
It takes a lot of restraint though. When you have the opportunity to do something you don't. But if you do it, you become legend, but only for a finite period of time.
Is it though?
Because everybody forgets
We're
about
still
it.
talking about this shit.
The news cycle is so fast though, but like who else is talking about this shit?
But this is a very odd corner of the internet.
It is. We're in an odd corner.
Yeah,
right
this
now.
is not a lot of people are talking about this or seeking this out, and
Right.
we're just bringing it up because it kind of
right, and we can't even remember the guy's name.
Who?
The Cub. It's somebody.
Oh,
looked
the
that
Cub.
up.
What's it? It was
But there have been so many mistakes though. Like I drive around and like. I am not an English major by any means, but I can pick out a lot of spelling errors, grammar errors. I can see punctuation, like that possessive apostrophe being in the wrong place. Let's hear it.
I read a ton.
She was just talking about this the other day.
I read a ton.
Yeah.
The number of typos I see in books, printed and these days, you would never have seen that before.
Right.
You would never see typos like I see in books nowadays.
Well,
and it's been over the past couple years. It's been an explosion of them. And it's like, I think it's partly AI. They've got AI doing a lot of this. They've got and just people don't care. They're distracted. They're lazy. They're not paying attention to what they're doing.
So at the end of every book, it said, and in summary, right?
I mean,
The AI
seriously.
does.
It's
but
weird.
Like the Australian government, though, I think this was only a few years ago, they printed up like over 1 million bills, like currency, Australian money, with a misspelled word on it. Like, think about that. How would you like that? What's that day at the office like when you go into your mint or whatever, and you have misspelled a word? And
I've been there.
And we have already printed X amount. I've made some mistakes in my life. It's very human to make mistakes.
Araldus Chapman.
Araldus Chapman.
I couldn't remember the name.
You remember it?
I do remember
that dude. He had the tattoos of stars coming up his neck. I just remember that. I was like, this, and then it was like, smack my bitch up, and it was like,
I think you and I just fist bumped on a guy who had a domestic violence
I think you
charge.
did. I think you did.
I think
That's
it was on
terrible.
remembering his name.
Dad,
Let's
I'm
go on
really
record
sorry.
and say we are not fist
Jesus
bumping about the
Christ.
domestic violence.
We're only celebrating the fact that we got the trivia. We
We just got
finally
the trivia
answer.
question right. That's all we were celebrating. I wasn't celebrating that this
Listen,
guy.
we're men in our 50s who just got a name, just remembered something. Okay,
Right. We have recall now.
we're gonna fist bump about that.
See that
We have
testosterone's
recall, and I
working
haven't
already.
even started my test. I know. Just the idea of it's working in my head. It's pumping more. I can feel it. Feel it
Love
coming
it.
back. Just the idea of it. All right, so it's creepy shit.
I just
It's
think
no, I think it's great. I love mistakes and shit. I think it's good.
So
Back to the whole
what's
thing.
what's the biggest mistake you've ever made, Marnie?
oh God.
Your Ernst doesn't make big
in this
mistakes.
arena, in the spelling arena,
In the spelling.
in the maybe a
arena.
mistake that somebody would notice in a presentation, something written, anything like that. Is there anything that jumps out at you in your life where you've dropped off the face of the earth with that?
Uh-huh.
What happened?
And it was an autocorrect mistake. And
Is it sending
back in
the right text to the wrong person?
No, but back in the day, early, and I can't even remember what email system it was. This was probably 2005. I don't even remember what email system it was, but it was early on in autocorrect. And something in an email, Chicago Blackhawks got autocorrected to black something else.
Ooh. What had you been looking at previously before you wrote
So
that?
I'm just this was before any of that technology existed.
Okay.
Let's be clear about that.
That's
It
fair.
was just early on in autocorrect. It
All
was
right.
just like it just
Okay.
did that. It was like it was a weird email system. It was like it wasn't Outlook. Like it was like when Outlook kind of first came out. Like I don't know, it was like old.
That's funny
But it
shit.
was a funny
imagine it was like-
autocorrect mistake.
Who is this text going to, or who is that email?
It was a work email.
a lot of people on that
It
chain.
was a work email talking about a Chicago Blackhawks package deal.
well,
Literally.
package. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Package.
Literally.
Literally. Exactly.
Literally
Yeah.
packaged.
Yeah.
Pete, anything like that in your past that you want to
way
reveal?
Worse. I had done a partnership between an entertainment company and a packaged goods company. Let's just say that.
More
I
packages,
don't want to
more
get into
packages.
that.
Lots
And
of packages.
part of it was putting a logo on the packaging, and then there was gonna be like a redeemable type thing and a QR code, and I thought it all had gotten approved and everything was fine, and all of a sudden about 5-6 million products were coming over with said information on it, and I was told this isn't right. Like coming on a boat over from Europe with just like,
Crates of stuff.
crates of shit that's just wrong.
Unusable. Right?
Unusable. And so I don't know, like it was probably like because it was like this could be career ending.
How
Like,
did it end up?
weirdly, bizarrely, it somehow there was like because it was driving back to a social media platform, and somehow they changed the ruling on the back end, which then made my verbiage work. Like it was like someone was watching out because it was career ending. Like it was that bad, and because it was like I was losing on every end, right, with the company, with so you're that middleman. And I just remember losing. I don't even know how to explain it. It was probably one of the lowest points in my, because I was just like, I can't believe I just did that. Like
How much time? How long did you live in that limbo state?
3 days.
3 days. Those are the worst.
Because they were coming,
The
like
worst- worst 3
my
days of
own
your
company's
life.
coming at me going, you're wrong. Like, and I was like, wait a minute, but like, and so I had to actually do all this research on my back end to figure out a way to, and then what's bad was that I basically proved them wrong, which made them not like me even more, going shit. Right? Like, because I'm like, well, with these rules changes and this and that, which was kind of on my own legwork, it was got very tense, because then it turned into, I'm just going to dig in now.
Right.
Even though it worked, then they became one of those like, well, I'm not going back because then it looks, but in the end, it all worked out perfectly fine and it went over. But like,
How much longer did you end up working there?
maybe a year.
Okay,
And it was
all right.
before that, there was 12 years, 13 years. Like that was where I was like, this isn't good. Because it was like, then I started noticing.
Well, and now the DOJ is suing them, so
Yeah.
I didn't say who that was. And all their shows are selling like garbage right now.
And the
But
DOJ
other
is
than
suing
that-
a lot of people. So
Yeah,
doesn't
but dude,
really narrow it down.
It literally took like a couple years. Like I remember just panicking, like to the point where I was like, "Where the hell the fuck do you come back from?"
Right.
Like, and it just weirdly worked.
Well, I think like
it
when
weirdly worked.
Wh-
Thank God.
I mean,
guess who
thank
gives
God.
a shit now?
Thank God it worked out. But I think like when you fuck up that bad, when you make a mistake like that, it just my experience, I just got to own that shit right away.
Oh, I
Own
did.
it.
I did.
You
But it
know?
was like then it was like, but what do you like? I told everybody. I didn't tell the client right because I was hoping I could fix it, but my company knew.
Like I don't have the. I'm sorry, it was my fault, but I don't have the $300,000 to fix this mistake.
Yeah, maybe say literally
What do you do?
$750,000 we were looking at. Dude. Yeah, like I had to eat. Like it was bad. Like it was basically, and it was like a double swing back and forth because my company lost and they had to get their money. It was a.
So like all the real estate fraud and the Bitcoin heists and everything that go on in the world are probably people who are like Pete, just trying to get out of some like $750,000 mistake that they just made.
Probably.
Yeah, bro. I mean, it was
We
real.
get those-
It was. Thank God. Like I said, it worked out. It happened. That was years. This is fucking 20 years ago, 15 years ago. It was a long time ago.
Well,
But,
I'm
like,
glad you're here to tell about it, my
man,
friend.
it took days off. I mean, that's why I had to go get that blood work because like my fucking.
Well, the testosterone's going to come back. You're never going to
I
misprint
don't
anything.
care about printing anything. Oh. It'll be great. I'm super excited. All right.
you know, we've
Oh,
been
what was yours?
we've been going. Yeah, we haven't heard his yet.
What's yours?
Mine. Let's see. Well, I have one that's probably not as intense as yours, but I was working at a radio station, and you know how you do a local tag at the end of a spot?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a commercial that runs, and then at the end, it's 8 different places are sharing that little ending place.
Yep.
Visit us at this location. Visit
Yep.
us at this location, and everybody's sharing a portion. Well, I took these 5 or 6 commercials that were supposed to be divided evenly, and I only put one in. So I went with one vendor for all 5 spots. And this was for a jewelry company, big spender on the radio, important piece of revenue. And these spots ran for I think 2 months.
As someone who used to be the person running all of those spots, this happens a lot more than you think.
Oh,
It
yes.
happens a lot.
And
This happens all the time.
And now that our oars are, behind us and we are on the shore, away from all those storms, it used to be a lot easier to cover up those mistakes. back then.
100%.
It
Yeah.
used to be a lot
Oh,
easier.
yeah. You can
And
make shit go away.
But anyway, this little mistake that I made was scary because I think that it was in the neighborhood of $40,000.
Yeah.
Which realistically is not an incredible sum of
No,
money.
but back in the day on a local radio station, that's a lot of money.
But it was enough to make me start being really nervous.
Exactly,
Oh my God,
exactly.
Yeah, and it's well, and that's it's kind of the thing of they just put you this fear into you of you can't mess up, and it's how the hell do you looking back now? How do you live like that? How do you always make just doing what we do in here, and to make sure this simple shit doesn't fuck up is a lot.
if you wanted to be perfect, you got to hire a machine or somebody else, not
Well,
me.
I just don't think perfect is that's back to the ring. I dig it. I dig it. It's cool. It's authentic and different. It's fucked. I'll take the fucked up one.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. Because in the end, people go dude, that guy got the fucked up one. That's the one that one's worth 3 times more than anyone else's because it's authentic and different. But
Right.
anyway,
There's a Jordan baseball or Jordan basketball card out there where he's wearing the number 12. I just saw this online the other day. And
Really?
it's from early in his
In a
career.
Bulls?
In a Bulls uniform,
What?
Michael Jordan wearing number 12. He's in the
Wow.
background. It's somebody else's card, but he has the number 12 on.
Yeah, that's wild.
And I don't know if this is the X-Men number 92 comic book from the 80s that a lot of people were obsessed with. I don't know if it has that kind of value.
Yeah.
But I was wow, that is a highly coveted
Yeah,
thing.
for
'Cause
sure.
I know this guy on Twitter who literally has 230 something Jordan rookie cards.
well, and that's it's start to look at have you seen The Accountant, the movie?
I think so.
Yeah, how he gets paid. He's I get paid it's some form of payment, and he gets paid in rubies and not rubies, Cougarans and baseball cards and Pollocks and all these crazy paintings. And you start looking at stuff. I'm a big fan of trade.
Everything's a commodity. It's
everything is a commodity now.
Yes.
Like I'd much
100%.
like I believe it's a fairer form. It doesn't fluctuate. If you look at it, go fair trade. I'm good
value
with that.
for
Like,
value.
that is a
It's like-
stronger. I love trade.
Yeah,
like
me
I
too.
think trade is seriously. Like I've got a friend. He's in the trades, i.e., home repair, and he all the time I can be like, "What do you want to trade, Joseph?" All the time before I'll go to money, like, "You need that?" He's like, "What do you want to trade? Like, what are you thinking?" And I'm like, before we even go, which is such a cool, it's a great way.
Yeah.
Trade more shit.
Yes.
Trade.
It's good.
Look at it. It doesn't always come down to fucking cash, yo. Trade sometimes.
Keeps the money away from the government.
Exactly.
And you can write it off. It's called in kind.
Always.
In kind.
Always a good thing.
Always good kind. All right, we got to move on. Next subject. We've been going for like 40 minutes.
Speaking of the government, this is a great segue.
Oh.
We're going to talk about the Creepy Line documentary.
So did you guys see this?
Oh, we watched it.
We did.
What'd you think?
I mean, it's nothing I didn't know because I know all this. But it is, I mean, it's the stuff that I think the average person is so woefully ignorant about that it's terrifying when you think of the type of an amount of power that a very small group of people are wielding in all of this, and
Yep.
that's just a bad thing for society in general, and so it's something that everyone needs to be aware of, I think.
And what is insane about that particular documentary and how terrifying it is that is 6 years old.
Yeah,
So
no, it's
think
old.
of how much bigger the machine is now versus back then.
Oh yeah, that's old data. That's old technology they're talking about in there. Like that's nothing.
Well, I think I'm a big hardware guy. Like I like
Stuff.
toys and stuff and technology. I love that. I love it. You start digging in to the future of GPUs. Was it like, what's the GPU company that just more valuable than Tesla and Amazon? What was that? Was it the Nvid? The NVIDIA, these guys, I actually have one in my computer. I run it, but my gaming rig. But when you start looking at the future of their GPUs and what those things are capable of, and then you start looking at these quantum computers, and then you start taking that and plugging in this data they gave us along with AI, shit's horrifying.
Oh yeah.
Because like they know us already. Like guys, they know us already.
Oh,
Then
yeah.
you start plugging in these machines that they're literally saying like a computer thinks about one thing at a time, kind of like humans. Like you think about something, you can have other thoughts going on, but you think these quantum computers think like God, as in like they do all scenarios at once and then come up with. So it's like, how do you outthink that? Then they know what you are already.
we
They know your
can't.
patterns. We can't.
We can't, and human beings have proven that, and that's a lot of the problems that we have in society right now, is that human beings cannot multitask. We have to think one thing at a time. This is the problem everyone has now. It's why you hear all of these thought leaders talking about finding flow state and everything. It's like teaching people how to operate again, because human beings are so fucking distracted.
Yep.
We're not meant to be multitasking.
And that's what I'm saying. So you start to we've talked about this, like how do you keep running so where there's no mistakes? You said put a machine in charge of it. Like a machine that runs every scenario. It's like slap that thing in one of those Boston Dynamic robots.
Right.
Horrible. And then put a gun on its face.
Terrifying.
Well, I think
I've seen Terminator.
the first time that I ever really came face to face with, holy crap, the world is really changing as it relates to computers, technology, Google, social media, all that stuff, was probably like 2004. And I was working with Scott Farrell, the radio guy. And the IT guy at this company had said, you want to freak him out? Let's do this, right? That he had the ability, and I didn't know the ability to do this had probably existed for many, many years already, but he had the ability to record the keystrokes of his computer. So he's like, you want to log into his email? He's like, this is how you do it. He's like, I have a record of what he types in for his password. Oh my God.
You were like, whoa.
I was like, oh my God. And this is
They
just
could do that?
this is just a guy sitting at an office building on Peachtree in Atlanta, right? Think of what the government has on us.
Right.
And now here we are 20 years removed from that day.
Right.
Man,
Bro, you heard about the Secret Service coming, right? Did you hear that story? Did I tell you that? Should we tell him? Have
Yeah.
we said it on? We haven't said it on this podcast yet.
No, we can tell.
Secret Service showed up here?
Yeah, at our house.
Wow.
So that, by the way, all the movies and everything you see,
It's totally
that
real.
shit's real. As in, don't fuck around. They'll be here. FBI, open up! We need to talk. You want to hear the story?
So let's hear this.
Here we go, everybody. Ready?
This is gonna be interesting.
I was playing around with gear, and a friend of mine, we were doing this website build, and he had a drone. And he said, hey, man, why don't you use the drone to get some pictures? I'm like, bro, there's a lot of easier ways to get pictures, but sure, I'll take your drone because I can play with your drone. Never play with a drone. One of the ones with, like, the goggles and the shit. Nice one. Have it, I bring it back, look at the instructions. These things are stupid easy now. Like, you literally put it down, push your button, it does it for you. It's none of the shit like growing up. I remember you buy a remote control plane and you had to like be literally like a pilot to fly the fucking thing. These things just do it for you. Like, it's creepy. So I find a day that's pretty. It sat there for about 3 weeks. I didn't touch it. Then we had a really nice day. It was a Sunday, and I was like, I'm playing with this thing. So you go and you put your phone into this like little controller. Whoever out there's, some of you have played with drones. Some of you have not. A lot more people have not. The controller's this, and you slide your phone into it. It connects to your phone. All these questions come up and all these things, and you don't really read it. You just scan through it and fucking acknowledge.
Terms and conditions.
You see
Just sign it.
see a couple of FAA things in there. You see a couple other things. Whatever. Sign.
All right.
Put the thing down. That blinks a couple times. You push a thing. It says on your phone. It says launch. Launch. Goes to eye level, and you're like, that's fun, cool shit. And you're like, and it goes up, flies around. I went about, quarter mile that way, quarter mile this way, came back, landed, did that 2 or 3 times. Like, this is cool as shit. Now I'm bored. I was like, you see, it's like, all right, now what? Comes, lands. I turned, my driveway.
Yeah.
I was down there by where you parked, facing the fence. Turn, pick up the drone, turn up there, and 2 dudes putting on bulletproof vests, walking out of a black sedan, like a black SUV.
Tahoe or something. Yeah.
Parked, caddy corner, and just pulled in, still sticking out in the street, full bulletproof vest. One of them had a small sub, and the other had just a gun. Came walking down. He's like, hey, need to talk to you about that drone real quick. And I was like, and I go, and he goes, yeah, I'm blah, 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 Secret Service. Wow. And it was like, literally like, hi, I'm Officer Jones. Yeah, and it's like, and this is Officer Smith of Homeland Security. Wow. Yeah. And now, dude, 4 minutes max, that fucking thing went up in the air. 4 minutes max. I turned to point and looked back. 1 battery. It wasn't days. 1 fucking battery of, not even half a battery of flying around. These 2 gargantuan humans. Can we talk to you for a few minutes? Yeah. Is that your drone? No. What do you mean? Well, I'm flying it, but it's a buddy's. It's not mine. Are you Peter Joseph? Yeah. Do you live here? Yeah. Is your wife's name? Yeah. Is she in the house? Yes. Could you let her know we're here? Hey, hon, the Secret Service is here.
That was fun.
She was like, what? She goes, did you know the president was in town? She did not know the president was in town. And he goes, he's right over here at Ebenezer Baptist Church doing the
MLK Day.
MLK Day
Service.
And he goes, the minute you got off the ground, it let us know to come here. He goes, we have to go through a battery of questions. Are you a terrorist? Have you ever had problems with this? Did you take any pictures? Can you show us those pictures? Can we know your back? Good 45-minute interrogation. Interrogate, like
45 minutes.
Talk
It was
to
a
me.
long time.
It was a long time. But then for about 30 minutes of talking, and then he walked away for a good 10, 15 minutes,
on the
called
phone.
fucking Quantico. And what was it? Is it Quantico? Yeah, called Quantico.
Oh, no, wherever they
Wherever
like,
fucking Virginia, isn't it Virginia? Quantico.
someplace in Virginia where they,
Yeah, he called. He goes, I got to call and I could hear him, and they verified. He's like, okay, everything checks out. He goes, wow. Yeah, dude.
Bro.
Turned, handed me the thing, not goodbye, eat shit. They were very nice. I mean, they weren't, but very intimidating. Super intimidating, as in, like, don't fuck with us. We know it already. And I was just like,
Did they also have the vibe of like, I'm not in the mood to joke around about
Yes.
anything?
Very much so.
Because I was doing Pete. So I was like, hey, you guys want some food? I'll cook you something. Like I was joking around, and they were just like, don't.
They wanted nothing to do with it.
I'm like, yeah, one guy, the Homeland dude, didn't say anything. He stood there and was just like. The other guy was more, hey, we need to talk. Because I think he knew the minute he saw me, it was like,
They knew
this guy isn't an
immediately.
idiot.
Yeah.
But they still want to throw their weight around and
Bro, I don't know if
really
it was
put the fear of God in you, which they did.
Oh,
I would have.
100%.
I don't know if I would have been able to keep my underwear on for the rest of the day after that.
It was scary, bro. Because I was like, holy shit, like this isn't a joke. Like you would come kick my door and drag me out of the house. Like I had no doubt that if I was smart ass with them, I would all of a sudden wake up somewhere else. Like, I wouldn't even know it happened. I would just be... And these men were gargantuan. And they weren't who they were. It wasn't like, hi, I'm Officer Jim Alonzo. Like, it was like, I'm Officer Jones. This is Officer Steve. Or Black. And you're just like... None of their names are real. None of the shit's real.
God.
Pulled up in a black sedan. Just parked in the middle of the street. Walked down putting on bulletproof vests. Like, what do you do in that?
So, drone photography is out for you guys,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
Is
I'm
that
done.
Too much PTSD for that thing?
Too much.
Oh, my God.
We're
Dude,
not touching another
I
drone.
would have freaked the F out.
did.
I'm intimidated by drones as a general rule.
I don't like them either.
And it was about 2 years ago. My wife got me a drone for Christmas. So here we are, Christmas morning. She opens up. I open up.
And
this
she's
drone.
so excited. You're like,
She's so excited, and I'm like,
shit.
I'm like, how do I say that I don't like this without? Like, I'm scared of drones. I just kind of am scared.
No,
of drones.
I don't like them either.
Bro, this
I
thing
think
was
I think they're
terrifying.
creepy as fuck.
You put it down on the ground and it goes tuk, 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 and it just goes vroom, like and starts and you're like it's like staring at you in the eyes and you're like and you can make it just kind of it's like it's almost like alive and you tell it to do it, it goes vroom, and it flies around. It comes home. You don't have to fly shit. I'm like, dude, you could.
See,
He goes.
this is what I worry
scary.
about and think about in terms of scary and the connectivity and the Secret Service showing up. I think even just sitting here, this is my conspiracy theory. I think even just sitting here and rolling this audio and video into these computers, even though maybe it's not live, I think
Right.
there's some way that the government has access to to flag those words, and they
Absolutely.
hear all that, and they could literally send people just based on this conversation. Now, there's probably just some knucklehead,
Right.
downing parliaments in some
100%.
control room in Virginia somewhere who's listening to this, and he might just be like, whatever, these guys just screwing around. Yeah. But like, that's the invasion of privacy that big tech and big government have, and
No,
it's like,
100%.
and this is going to be addressed. I don't think in a very healthy way in the future.
No.
I only see this ending poorly.
Very poor.
I only see this ending poorly. I think anybody who says, oh, yeah, this is going to be great. Look at how awesome this technology is. No, I don't believe that at all. I mean, I acknowledge that technology is awesome and that we do live in a wonderous world.
Yeah,
But
fascinating.
like, literally, like they are just, there's no privacy anymore.
Just watch the Boston Dynamic and then watch those Boston Dynamic robots, man.
Oh, my God.
Turn that shit off.
What? Here's something.
Turn it off.
Watch Terminator. Just watch Terminator.
Yeah.
We're there. All right,
Watch
we
Terminator.
I'll be back.
on that note of we have to go. We have another subject.
But I mean, we've been going 45 minutes.
Now, let's do the last subject. We can cut it up.
Last one. Here we go.
Trevor Lawrence, $50 million.
I really think, and I thought about this as it relates to real estate, right? We are setting the comp too high. We're setting the comp
That's the
too
same
high.
thing we've been saying.
right? Because now everybody else is going to be like, I want to make this.
We can't pay everyone that.
Right.
Like, it's not sustainable, people.
It's gonna break, man. It's gonna break.
I don't know. And like, I listened to some commentary today on Rich Eisen, who I really like. I'm nostalgic for Rich Eisen.
I love
just
Rich
'cause
Eisen.
He's been around forever. He's like the utility do-it-all guy of sports media. And he was talking about how jealousy is going to creep into those locker rooms because
For sure.
your average offensive lineman is making a good living, but they're not rich by any means. And like your guy who is your backup quarterback, I don't know what those contracts look like, but there's going to be some discrepancy here in terms of, what type of suits and cars are being driven into the facility on Monday.
Yeah, and it's like when you're talking about those offensive linemen in particular that aren't making much, like they're the ones getting the shit beat out of them.
Right.
Like they're the ones risking CTE on a regular basis way more than anyone else on the field, right? Like, aren't they?
Conversation.
I mean, it's not
I
like
don't
we don't
know,
have
man.
to have
It's like
that.
they- I
but,
don't- I
like,
don't
we don't
know.
have to go there. But what I'm saying is they're the ones getting beat up. Like,
To me, it's like
so they're probably. My point is they probably have resentment, right? Like the jealousy getting into the locker rooms, like he was saying. Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Well, hasn't that always been though? It's got to have always been like that. Just that the scales, like okay, Tristan Wirfs, Bucks left tackle. He was a All-Pro right tackle. They moved him to left tackle. Now he's the All-Pro left tackle. He's probably 1 percentile of offensive linemen, which is other than the quarterback, usually your highest paid, and your left tackle is usually the highest paid of your linemen, right? Left tackle center ish usually. He's hovering, I think there's something like 21, 22 million. And like you think about like the difference and that guy, and then you talk about like Trevor Lawrence that's done nothing. He's won a Super Bowl. He protected Tom Brady. Trevor Lawrence has done nothing. He's getting $50 million.
Well, I think that it will be.
I'm not saying same team, and guys. Hopefully, you understand that. I'm just saying comparison.
For the most part, I think it would be a wash in the locker room if you're talking about a 12 or 13 win team in December, right? Like I think winning kind of solves all of this. But we're also talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars,
Yeah.
right? Who kind of have a history of, I don't know, 4 or 5 win seasons and, and not much more. It will be really interesting. But the NFL is sitting on this big, gigantic pile of money, okay? There's money coming from everywhere in the NFL. And I have to say, I'm just kind of happy to see the players getting some of it in whatever form they do get it because they are the product. You play, you go out there, you're the product. People are coming to see you, not the general manager or anybody else. They want to see
owners or the like.
Look, I think they should all pay him. But what's weird is that it's how do you pay that one dude that much?
Right.
That's just it. Pay the players. Oh my God, make your money, baby. All you guys, make your paper. I get it. But like, how do you, that? It's just percentage of is what we're talking. And that's just it. Like, I would love to see more of the pie go to the players, but then it's just going to keep going to. It's just going to be. It's just always going to be unequal. In that.
It's just
like it just is. Like those guys are so unique.
The thing is like this sounds, and it is a lot of money. I'm not saying $50 million isn't a lot of money. It's a lot of money by any measurement. But like the money the NFL makes, guys, like they make that type of money.
I get it.
Daily.
But if
like,
you up the salary cap, which is what goes to the players, then he's going to get $80 million. Like
Well,
it's still just going to it's never going to and there's going to be some poor guy on there that secondary backup that makes what's the league minimum $1 million? That's what Russell Wilson was paid $85 million to leave Denver, and what's it called picked him up for the league minimum of $1 million. How insane is that?
Well,
like
think about the broad, like if you own an NFL franchise, you're the Jacksonville Jaguars, you're the Falcons, you're the Jets, Bears, whatever. You own a printing press for money because you share television revenue from all 32 teams. So when the Dallas Cowboys are on Monday Night Football and they get a huge rating, all the teams benefit, right?
Right.
So like I don't know, I'm happy that the players are getting in on some of this action, but what I am kind of worried about if I'm the NFL, and I do think about this stuff a lot because I'm really passionate about, sports broadcasting and growth of sports, is how, and you see it now, the NFL is doing more games out of the country. In Brazil, they're going to do a game.
Yeah.
Mexico City, they're doing a couple of games in Europe now. They're altering up their package to, back to package again, I know you love that, Marnie, the Chicago Black Hawks.
Hawks.
All right. But like here they are the Netflix. They're going to put 2 games on Christmas on Netflix.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. These are big, big deals. How they need to continue to grow this sport globally. And I think they are woefully behind the sport of soccer in that fashion. Because here you see, like in Nashville, just a couple of months ago, they had this big like Premier League fest.
Yeah.
There was an exhibition game. Tottenham Hotspur came and played up there. It's like there's all this excitement. Does it translate? Does it look like that overseas, right? Because the NFL said we need some of that money. These people who are, are leaving soccer and they're interested in the NFL, how do we corral them together and get them to buy our package, watch our games, buy our merchandise, follow all of our people on Twitter, and most importantly, support our sponsors and advertisers. That's what they want.
100%.
Well, they're saying that they wouldn't be surprised if I've heard a bunch of broadcasters say they wouldn't be surprised if Jacksonville was in London in the next 4 years. Like as a London-based team.
I can see that happening.
Well, it's just saying London. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bucks were the German-based team.
I wouldn't either.
Like
And that's like a lot of what was behind the NFL and pursuing the NFL's desire in pursuing the Amazon Thursday Night Football deal, which Amazon is like freaking crushing the production on Thursday Night Football, like crushing it. It's so good.
And they didn't.
It's really good.
And they didn't have any infrastructure to begin with.
None. And it's so good. They're doing so good.
So good.
Yeah.
Like we watched it last year. I was like, damn.
I really I'm nostalgic for Al Michaels. I don't care
so
how out of it he is. I will always watch him because I just love his voice, and he is just.
It does sound
He's
great.
got
It's just
he's
so
classic.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
It sounds. It's football.
He sounds great with Kirk Herbstreit. Kirk
does.
Herbstreit sounds good, and they're
I
funny
know.
together.
And they
you know?
are. I know. It's good. It's good programming.
Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime, presented by.
But it's a global,
awesome.
right? Prime's a global audience. It takes care of the global distribution and growing the game globally.
Man, their production was sick.
Their production
so good.
is
Looks so much better
great.
than.
Like,
My god.
They put a ton of money into it, but you also see when you're watching it, you see the future of where everything's going, right? So like you're watching Thursday Night Football on Prime, and they're like, hey, ask Alexa for what Herbstreit's wearing right now, and it'll pop up on your, and it's like you see the future of where this is all going from like a 360.
Yes, interactive, promoting the sponsors live,
Yep.
like
It's
QR
wild.
codes. Like, have we seen QR codes on the court or the field yet? I don't know.
I don't think we've seen them on the field.
No, but if they could do the stuff they do with those Nickelodeon broadcasts, they could do anything.
I tell you what, Noah Eagle, I was so proud of him, man. He's Ian Eagle's son, who called that game on NBC, the playoff game. He did a great job, and then he did the Nickelodeon Super Bowl. Just
Nickelodeon
great.
stuff I think is great.
But
Nickelodeon football stuff's good. Yeah.
here's what the NFL is jealous of. They're jealous of the NBA because the NBA has this massive audience of 1 billion people in China who are all watching. The audience
I know.
is infinitely bigger overseas than
Yeah.
it is here.
It is.
Like,
But I'm happy to see
be like-
the old Knicks Porzingis won a nice.
Oh, yeah. First ever player from Latvia to win the
That's
championship.
good for you, Porzingis.
You know? Chris
Good for
Stapps
you,
Porzingis.
Chris Stapp Porzingis.
And then Wheeler.
Good for you.
Wheeler High School's own, not Jason Tatum, that's number 0 for the Celtics, but the other guy, Jaylen Brown, Wheeler High School, right here in Marietta.
Look at that.
Killing
Look
it.
at that. Look at that.
And Kyrie didn't win. So
Good for you.
What did you think? All right, I know we're rambling here, but what did you think at the end of the game in the fourth quarter? You didn't see it? So Kyrie Irving, who Boston fans loathe and despise him, and every time he touched the ball, they were like booing. And when he would shoot free throws, you'd hear just this chorus of Kyrie sucks. Kyrie sucks. Okay? In the fourth quarter, when he comes out, he walks over to the Celtic bench, shakes hands and hugs with everybody, coaches, everything. I thought it was a really interesting
Good for you,
move.
Kyrie.
It's just weird. Like, I
Good
know
for you.
his time was fucked up in Boston. He did some shit that was not cool.
No, that's cool.
People
That's cool
hated
that he
him,
did
but like,
that. Yeah.
I'm all about the redemption.
Absolutely.
Show some class.
Show
That's
some
class.
respect.
Why is he doing
You can't
it?
deny class.
Show some respect.
Yeah, why is he doing this? If I'm a kid and I ask my dad, why is he doing that? It's because he's doing the right thing. That's
He's
what
showing
he's
face.
supposed to
He's
do.
showing face, son.
It's sportsmanlike conduct. It's good sportsmanship.
No, that's
It's
good stuff, man. I
respect.
think I'm not a huge Kyrie fan. I don't think he's a huge team guy. How do you warm up in your own stuff and not team stuff? That's a bit weird to me. Like, have you seen that? Like, I get it, but like, that's class move. Class move on
It is.
Kyrie. Other than that, I don't know.
And then I love Celtics because they just kept their mouth shut and did what they needed to do, and they won the
They
title.
looked so good.
They look
Yeah.
terrific. They
They
look
looked
terrific.
really good.
All right, we cannot go on any longer.
No, we're good. We
got the-
are running out of time, but we're gonna have Rich back.
We're gonna have Rich back a lot. You could probably be a 2 or 3 episode or seasoner.
How do I do on my first performance? I say 13 minutes,
I
2
think-
of 3 shooting.
I mean, outstanding.
You did fine. You did outstanding.
Outstanding.
Right, everybody?
Pimp, well,
Rich
pimp
did great.
Pimp yourself out, Rich.
Oh, let's see. Follow me on Instagram, Rich Sullivan _ on Instagram. I am on the X, formerly known as Twitter. I don't know when we're going to stop saying that, but not today. Rich Sullivan there, and that's pretty much it. I'm easy to get a hold of. RichSullivan.com. I actually have that, unlike my friend. He doesn't have his name. And I'm going to get on here and check out PeterJoseph.com. See if I can snag that.
I'm going to buy that
myself.
real quick. Hang
Yeah.
on.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Thanks,
Guys, we love you.
Rich.
Thanks so much. Be good. We'll see you soon.
Bye.